today I'll do the hands-on of these stuff, and we'll see the roles in action. And after that, we will move on to groups and what are types of groups, what we need to know about the groups. So without further ado, I'll just go to the portal, and we will start doing the demo of the things. So here I am in my portal. Hey Sayed, how are you? So here I am in my portal, and yep, let's see. So we know two types of role, Azure ready roles, which we will see in Azure Active Directory, and some resource-based role, which we call as role-based access control, which are resource-specific, and they're gonna come under resources like virtual machine, storage account, even subscriptions. If I go to subscription, I have to go into same access control. And if I go to roles, I can find the roles specific to subscription. We saw these three are common. These are, we can say, management plane roles. But there's a point to note that even theoretically, we have management plane and data plane operations, but roles can overlap. So some roles can have those both of those operations. Some roles may not have, some roles may only have one types of operation. Okay, so how we can check that, I'll show you right now. So let's say I created this storage account. Okay, so this one, and if we go into access control, currently I go into a role assignment to see what already assignments we have at the moment. So you can see there is two users.
So sorry for interrupting, sir. What is going on here?
We're just discussing what we discussed yesterday.
Okay.
So I'm just giving a little bit of revision, and then we are doing, because yesterday we didn't did much of a hands-on. We covered most of the theoretical part. So now we are starting with the hands-on of yesterday. Okay. So if you go into role assignments, you will see what all the roles has been assigned to which users, and it has grouped in this form. If you go here, you can see all of the roles. If you expand it, you will see which user have this access. So this is cool thing. If you remember, I talked about three types of identities. Anybody want to tell me which are these three types of identities we have in Azure Active Directory? Anybody? If you don't remember, you can say that as well. No worries.
So just tell me anyone.
So this was something called as user and groups.
Yeah, user and groups, managed identities, and service principal. Is that one?
Yes, exactly correct.
Yeah.
So
there is a there is a global admin also.
Those are the roles. Did you Sayed watch the previous sessions that you missed?
No, sir.
Okay, so then you're gonna get, I told you that you will feel a little lost in upcoming sessions. So that's why you need to, keep up with the pace. So I'm talking about the identities which we have inside Azure Active Directory. So there's one called as users, groups, and there are type of three categories of identities: users, groups, and we can say external guest users as well. Then we have something called as managed identities. It could be your services inside Azure, like virtual machines, like Azure Data Factory. So all those services we manage them.
Sir, whatever the left hand side, so these are identities.
No. These are, I'm just giving this an example, like where we can find these identities. So user groups, we're gonna find these here in external entities. If we are talking about managed entities for virtual machines, we're gonna find that right here. If I go to devices, if I go to all devices, these are not basically those identities which I'm talking about. We will see this after some time, but yeah, you can say that these are the managed entities as well. Okay. But if I go to identity, managed identities, okay. So here where I'm gonna find all the managed identities I have. Okay. No need to go about this in detail. This is not in scope of this course, at least. This is more of security side, but at least we need to know how many types of identities there are. So user, group, guest, services. So identities for services are called as managed identities, and then there is called something called as service principals. So those are application registration. So if you register an application, we basically get to see the service principals. Okay, so 3 types of identities: one for users and groups, etc., one for services in Azure, and third for applications. Okay, so where were I? So let's say I was in the storage account, I was in this, and in roles. So here, sorry, roles assignments. Here I can see whichever roles I have. So as you can see, this is not a user, this is not a group, but it still has contributor access, and it says app, right? So if this is an app, so what kind of identity you think it should be? What kind of identity applications have?
Service principal.
Yes, exactly. So if I click here, you can say it is an enterprise application. However, you can say there are something called as automation accounts, which create service principal as well. So basically, this is coming from the automation account, which works by creating some application in the backend. So that's how you can say automation accounts are, get service principal as well. So, but in the backend, you can say this is going to be, what applications will have service principal. So you can see this is a service principal of an application, right? So now, what else? If I want to give access to a managed identity, we know if I click here, I click on add role assignment. And from here, I can choose the role of, let's say, a contributor. I click next. If I go to here, manage identities. So you can see this is service principal. If I click select members right now, I will see users, and if I have any applications. So that which we saw the service principal was coming from a storage automation account. We don't need to worry about that, what that is, but if we have any applications register, it's going to be visible here. So now what about managed identities? If I open my Azure in new tab, sign in again. So if you remember, I created a VM, I think a lecture before or before that. Okay. So VM is a service, right? And to have the service of identity of this, we have managed identities. So for virtual machine, you need to enable that. So either you can, while creating a virtual machine, there is an option to enable that identity. We saw that, I think. If not, if you haven't done that before, you can just go to your virtual machine, go to identity, and click status on and save. So basically what we'll do is it will create a managed identity, you can say managed identity of this virtual machine. So services need access, they use managed identities, right? So it could be Key Vault, it could be any other service. So that's that. Obviously, this is going to be, which services are supported only. So for virtual machine, you need to do this. And then if I go back here, I think I would need to try it again, just so it loads again. So let's try to give this virtual machine contributor access. Click next, select manage identities, select members. It will have you where managed identity you want to give access to. So I'm giving access to inside my subscription. What kind of managed identity? Virtual machine. And you can see I have both of my virtual machines here. So I can click on one, hit select, click next, and review and assign. So basically, I gave contributor access to my managed identity, which is associated with virtual machine. And here it is. So now virtual machine can do contributor level stuff with this storage account. So let me from here sign in with a different account and go to the user we created, demo user, in the first session. Not first session, but the user session. So here I'm signed in with the user I created, and we know we didn't give it any role or access. So if it go to storage account, it won't be able to do anything.
So you have created this user in an Active Directory?
Yes. So I just go to Active Directory, the user, add new, click new user, and then create a new user. And then from where I created this demo user, okay, for the session. It's in the session we did. So we will remember we didn't give it any access, so it's not able to do anything, right? So what if I want to give this user access and see what it can do? So I go to my storage account. I'll go to my again storage account, select the storage account. I'll go to access control. I do the same thing for users as well. So let's give this user honor access. So grant full access. I'll go to use, I'll select user group service principal, click here. Here I should find my users. So here is this user. I'll click select. I'll hit review and assign, and I'll assign. So once this role assignment is done, we can go here and hit refresh and see what we got. So I haven't, waited for any time. I'll just go here and you can say I don't have access still. Why is that? That's because everything you do in cloud gonna take some time to get adjusted in the backend, right? So we are doing everything here. It's basically going through our ARM, then it's seeing where the resource is located. It could be in US, it could be in Singapore, it could be in India. So all those stuff, it needs some time to settle in the backend. So if I refresh this now, you can see I still don't have access. But here, if I go to role assignment, let me refresh. Okay, this is weird. Let's open this again. Go to role assignment. And you can see this demo user have owner access to the storage account, but here I can't able to say it. It's because we have to wait for a minute or a couple of seconds based on which kind of resource, based on where it's located. So after some time, what I will do, open the storage account again and see if it has settled everything in the backend. Okay. So this is that. This is how you give a user a managed entity or application access to your resources, right? You just go here and do this. Now, so if you remember, we had two types of roles. If I go here, so this was something called as, like we discussed, Blob. So if I go to Blob data contributor, if I view here, it gives us basically managed containers and data level access as well, right? So I told you these actions can overlap and where we can find it. So before we go into it, let's see if this works. It still hasn't worked. Let it refresh. And now you can see I get the storage account. Before I wasn't able to do anything. Now I can have access to the storage account. If I click here, and if I go to access control, I can, click here. I can check my own access as well. You can click on here to view your own access. If I click here, it will basically show me my access. Or if you want to find some other user's access, let's say I want to find this user's access. Okay, I'll click here and it will show me that user access as well. It has user access administrator. Okay, so makes sense how we can check other access, our own access, how we can add roles and all those things. Any questions till now with assigning roles and
Sir, can you please repeat this again?
How we can check access?
Yes.
So you just go to your.
You give access for global.
We gave access for owner. So if I go to role assignment, I gave the owner role to this user, and here I'm signed it as this user, right?
Okay.
So here I am. First, I was not able to do anything. Then I waited for a couple, a few seconds or a couple minutes. Then I refresh it. Now I got access. And here I can do everything with the storage account, even I'm not signed in with the original user. So here I am with my new user. I can do anything and I can check my access. If you are not sure which your access is, you can click here. Or if you want to check other people access, because sometimes this get messy, right? You're gonna see a lot of access, kind of access in here. I don't know why this is, not loading all the time. I guess it's because of my browser. So, because after this, you will have maybe 100 people accessing this storage account. It's hard to see access from here. So basically, you will just keep the name here, or if you want to check your access, you can click here. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So yeah, that's now I have whole access of it. Now what we're talking about here is data plane and how we can find what role have what access. So now, as we discussed, some role may have overlapping access. Some role could have only, data level access. Some role could have only management level access, or you can say control level access. So if someone saying control plane, they basically means management plane, and other is data plane, of course. So if I click here, I click honor, honor role, and you can see these two tabs. So this means the management level access, and this means data level access. So this role doesn't have data level access. This is little tricky. I'll come back to it in a moment. But before, let's see some other roles as well. Okay. So let's see Blob role, which we discussed a lot. So if I go to Blob data owner, this has management level access to all of these things, data action, data level action as well. And if let's say we want to see a role which only have data level access, I think it could be something with files, maybe. Let's see. So you can go ahead and see if I click here. So this doesn't have any management level access, this role. However, it has data level action. So does that make sense now? Where we can find the which kind of access what role have is, does it have management level access? Does it have data plane level access? Okay. So now I was talking about something called as owner. So according to theoretically or according to our logic, owner shouldn't be able to do anything with this storage account, right? However, if I go to my other account, right, this is my other account. If I go to this, so according to Microsoft or according to our knowledge, I shouldn't be able to add data to container or modify the data, right? So here I have one container. If I open this, I don't have data level access. So I shouldn't be able to upload this, right? Anything. Let's try. So if I go here, let me select a file from my PC. So, okay, so this is a text file, simple. I'll upload. I'm able to upload it. So why is that? Anybody? This is a little weird, right? If we go to owner role, it doesn't have any data level access. But why does it have? Why I'm able to do the data level roles? If I want to delete it, I can do that as well. So any guesses why is that for owner role or some data planes role?
So I think you give a permission to whole storage account. So I think that's why.
Yeah, partially correct. Leo, what do you think?
Not exactly sure, sir.
Okay, so the thing is, this shouldn't supposed to happen, right? According to Microsoft documentation, according to our theoretical knowledge, this shouldn't happen. So why is it happening? So that's because I read the documentation as well. I couldn't find much of the details in this. The only explanation I got is that if you are owner or not contributor, if you are an owner, at least, you can manage access, right? So if you are an owner, if you have a management level access, you can give yourself access as well. If I go here, add role assignment, let's say I give some data level role, blob. Let's say blob owner, click next. I can give myself access as well, right? Data level access. So that way, what they did is, instead of granting explicit access to owners or some with high privilege role, then the backend just gave them access right away. Because if they didn't give them access right away, we just have to go ahead and add another step and give ourselves data plane role to manage the data, right? So in the backend, they just did shorten one step and gave owner data level access as well, because owner can always give itself his or herself data level access. So they just granted it by default. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Right, Leo, makes sense?
Yeah, you mean owner by default the owner has the full access? Is that right?
Right. But if we go here, we don't see data actions here. So it's in the backend only. So that's why we do real world, labs or try to do these things. So you won't see this in any documentation or anything, but it's there. And the explanation I could find was that owner can give itself access. So they just cancel that step and give owner all access.
So then what we can do in our data?
We can do everything. So owner can give every kind of access to itself. So basically owner can do everything related to this service, even data level things as well. Okay. So this is like you won't find I tried to find this in docs. I couldn't. If you find that as well, please share it with me as well. However, the explanation I got was this. So according to theoretical, according to Microsoft, it shouldn't have any data level access, but it does. So that's because owner can add or remove roles for itself. So basically just give it all access of data as well.
Then sir, what is the purpose of data action?
it is for the more restrictive roles. So let's say I want someone to only do, let's go with some file. So let's say I want someone to only do this. Okay, data, only do this data, but not management. So you will
Okay.
go with only this role assignment, and you don't give any other major assignment to it.
So we cannot give access to others, right?
Right. It
In
can't, it
data
only do,
action.
yeah, it only do data roles, data stuff. So for restricting access, that's why you don't give honor role to anyone, because it's too much access. You would usually go with least privileged access. So any of these role you will probably go. You can go with storage table contributor, that so person only wants to, you know, perform nothing for this, but only for query tables. And only for this, it can do this on data actions as well. So for that, you will go least restrictive. So whatever person need, only give that data, but not more than that. Okay. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So that's that I found odd as well. Why? So I did some research, and yeah. So yeah, that's basically it for roles. And now what we can go about is see users and what else we need to know about users from Azure portal. So if you can walk me through it. So anyone, Sayed, Leo, how we can create a new user?
Yes,
Where
sir.
should I go? Yeah.
Go in the user
Mm-hmm.
and then new user,
Mm-hmm.
then just check, create your
Right.
name.
So what if I go
I
to
have, sorry, sir. I
Mhm.
have a one question. In username, there is a when you write your name, and next means right side. If I have a different domain, should we can add there
Yes, we can. We can add that from custom domains.
custom
So
domains?
yes, let me open this again. Let me go from privileged. So you can go
So
to,
what
I
I
showed
want
this
to
as well.
ask, you
Yeah.
understand, Nazar?
Yeah. If you
If I
want to,
have,
don't
if
use
I,
this
yeah,
default domain.
if I have my own domain like
Mhm.
sayed.com, so we can
Mhm.
add there.
Yes. So we discussed that as well.
Okay,
You
sir.
just
Okay.
need to go to custom domains here and click on add custom domain. And after that, you need to do some verification. We'll once you go it, you will know that once you go to the video. But yeah, we can do that, of course, from this. That's how companies get their domains, because this is not a good domain. This is a default domain. If I'm working with the company, I'm going to use my domain, right? I want to create that those emails account, right?
Right, right. So we will do that now.
Sorry,
We will do now this one.
the custom domain.
Yes.
It's not in this one. It's in SC exams. But if you have a domain, I can help you set up.
I have a domain.
Okay, so maybe in next class we can set it
Just
up.
for
The
just
first
for
thing.
example, sir. Just for example, one we will can do.
Yeah, we will definitely do it. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So maybe next class before. Right now we are in middle of a topic. So next class we'll start with this. I will help you. You can share your screen. I will help you set this up. Okay. So after that we will start with our topics. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So yeah, this is basically how we add details, and then we will able to create the resource our user. So say if I go to invite user, which kind of user it's gonna create? Any idea?
I think guest user.
Yes, exactly. So in this, it will create a guest user, and user can, add its. You can add user email account, whatever domain, whatever company it is, Gmail, it's some other company. We can add that from here,
Sir,
and
is it a for temporary use?
yeah. You can say that it's for temporary use, but you can have it as much long as you want. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So that user won't be get a new email like this. Okay. So it will can use its own email. Now, so this is one way of creating a user, right? Now, what if uh, this is like one user, but what if, let's say, I'm migrating, or I recruited, let's say, 100 people at the same time. I recruited 50 interns, 50 help desk administrators, or something like 2020, whatever, how I want to distribute it, right? So that way I would need to go ahead first here, then add one person detail, then add his name, add additional details, copy the password as well, right? Whatever, however we're going to do it, once we fill this out, we'll know. So add the password, copy it somewhere, then send it to user, right? All those things. It's pretty tricky, if you ask me. It would be too much time consuming to create 100 users one by one, or 1,000, however, how much big your company is. So for that, we have something called as bulk operations. So this is if you go to skills measured, I guess it will be named as bulk user updates or something like that. Okay. So basically what that means, how we can update, invite, or delete bulk users. Now, so if you want to use 50, 100 users, like basically create users in bulk, we will go here and click on bulk create. If you want to invite users in bulk, let's say I want to invite 50 people of an organization to my tenant to use resources, I will click here. And if I want to delete users in bulk, I can click here. And this is basically download all the users you have in a tenant. Okay. So let's click on bulk create. If I go here, this is basically giving me a CSV template, right? I can download it, I can edit it, then upload it, and then we will, be able to create users. So if you are in your, if you have your Azure account open, download this file, and we can have a better picture of this. So I'm downloading it right now, and let me open it and share it with you how it looks like. So here I am. This is the template. Let me make it bigger, right? Let's stretch these out, right? So this is the file that Microsoft gave us for bulk user update. One is filled for as an example. Okay. So this is all the fields we can add for a bulk user. Now, if display name is required, I can just delete this whole thing and start adding my own. So basically I need to create a user called demo user 02 or something. Let's go with 03. So I would give a like email. So demo user 03 at whatever the my domain is. I would go to my Active Directory and copy that. I'll paste it here. Now I will give an initial password. This has to be a complicated password. If you don't, it will give error. Then you will update the file again. Then you will upload it again. So initial password. Let's give it some difficult password like test pass 123 at hash, something like that. I'll just copy it just so I don't forget. So after that, you do need to click in block sign in no, because if you block the sign in, user won't be able to sign in. And you can see all these fields have something called as required here. So basically what this means, these are the mandatory fields. If you don't see required in other fields, like first name, it's not required, job title not required, last name not required. So these fields which are not required, we don't need to fill this. You can if you want. Let's say usage location, you can if you want. Street address, department, let's give it an IEM department maybe, right? So for this you can add all these fields, but if it doesn't say require, you don't need to. So now you can add another user if you want to create a demo user, maybe 4 or something. Demo user 4, give it an email as well. And as you can see, you can add these users how many as you want. You can just basically keep on adding rows. For simplicity purpose, let's just keep it to 1 because it's gonna take time to create users. So this is basically it. You will add this information, however users you want. It could be 50, it could be 1,000. You will add this in a text file, CSV file. Then go ahead and edit the details as well, however you want to like, and then hit on save and come back to the portal. So here am I in the portal. I'll go to users. I'll go to bulk operations again, bulk create. So I have downloaded this file. I have edited this file. I will upload this file now. So now it has uploaded successfully. I will just hit on submit. And if I give all the information correct, it will verify it. It will create user and give me a success message. And if the information is somewhat incorrect, it will give me an error message. Okay. So if you had like 50 users in it, it will create in the backend and create all those users. Okay. So same thing for invite as well. You will download the file. You will input the fields. As you can see, bulk operation is succeeded. And if you can see how many users I have. If I refresh, I have a new user, which we just inputted. We can copy its email, open it in a new tab, sign in with different, and paste it. So now this user is able to, enter the password, update the password, which we created. Of course, we will send that. And that's how the user will be able to log in. So if I go ahead and copy the password as well, enter, sign in. Now user will need to update the password, and after that it will log in. So I'll update the password just to show you. Sign in. And we basically created a new user via bulk invite. So bulk operations. You can click here. If you have added 50 users, it's all gonna be shown here. So any questions till now? Bulk invite. If you go to bulk delete, basically same thing. You will give information of the users you want to delete, edit it, upload the file, submit the job. Same for invite as well. Okay. So this is what we call as bulk operations. Any questions till now?
No, it's fine.
Okay, great. So yeah, that's
Sir,
basically, yeah.
Sir, if I have a one user name is called Sayed, I forget the password, then how I will reset that?
So you would log in through your administrator account. It could be help desk administrator. Of course, if you are global administrator, that would have all the privilege. So if you're help desk administrator or any privileged administrator, you will go to that user. You will click on password reset and give it the new password, which it will give you.
They ask for the old password, right?
Yeah,
Or
so
no?
that's why you will contact your administrator who have this kind of access, right? So you will reset it. And once the user try to log in, it will, able to get the new password which you gave. So let's see, this is the new password. So I will give this password to user. So if I, sign out for a moment, I go here, you can say it's signed out, signed me out, and which was the user, this one. And if I enter the new password, then only it will log me in. Okay, then I would need to, of course, go through the same process of updating the temporary password. Make sense?
Yes, sir. This is for who have a right, who have a
Who have
global right.
yeah, who have some who have privilege to reset passwords. That's basically it.
Mhm.
No, okay. Why is it signing out from everywhere? I think I clicked something else. Okay, no worries. Let me open this again. Where am I? Right. So this is how you will reset the password for your users if they forget that. Okay. So there's something called as self-service password reset, which is I guess tomorrow we will cover, or one day after that, depend on how much we can cover. But yeah, so that will help users to reset their own passwords. So that's basically it. So that was the thing about users, bulk users, whichever we need to know. And now let's move on to groups. Okay. So I'll share my whiteboard again. So if we go here, we have done users, we have done roles, assignments as well, to either a manager entity to either something else, right? We have done some other things which are not remembering as of now, but yeah. So I guess we can wrap up.
Okay, thank you so much.
No worries, no worries. Happy to help.
Bye.
Okay, bye. Take care.